I was going to do my best to give the operatic intro to the Champions League, me singing it myself, full falsetto or whatever tone it's in, but I think it's best for all of us that I don't do that. I've got the looks of Pavarotti, not necessarily the voice of Pavarotti. Welcome back to the channel though. It's time to talk about the Champions League. We are only a couple of days away now from the Champions League group stage draw. The smile on my face tells you how excited I am. And today we're going to have a look over the potential opportunities for Celtic in this Champions League group stage draw. We're going to go over my best and worst case scenario. We're going to do a draw simulation. Overall, we're just going to talk about some of the teams in the Champions League as we prepare for that huge draw this week. Oh, it's good, isn't it? So then, if you haven't already, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It is much appreciated, and the support for the channel. We're back, of course. And today, we're going to be talking about that Champions League draw that is coming up this week. Massive for Celtic. I'm very excited because it's the first time since, of course, 2017 that Celtic have been in the draw for the group stages of the Champions League. It feels like an eternity ago now. I was doing live reactions to the Champions League draw. Brendan Rodgers was still in charge. Scott Sinclair was still tearing it up on the left. It feels like an eternity ago. It really does. So much has changed. I was talking to someone earlier, and the last time we were in the group stage draw for the Champions League, I was starting 5th year of school. This is my last year of uni coming up now. It's crazy how much time has gone by since we last played in it. It's a joke, to be fair, isn't it? Let's cut to the chase. Celtic need to be and should be in the Champions League every single year, and we've missed out far too many times. It's embarrassing, the teams that we've lost to in the qualifiers over the last few years. But now we're back. We're in that group stages. It shows you how important it is for that first place in the league now, winning the league, to get you right into this competition with 40 million quid off the back of it. It's so important. So I'm happy to be back. I'm very excited to be back. And the tickets as well this morning were released for the group stages a little bit earlier than anticipated. So Celtic released this morning the free match package for the Champions League group stages before the draw has been done. We don't know who we're playing yet, but they have been released for £129 per adult. That's the adult prices. For concessions, £99, and for under 13s, £90, which equals, for the adult prices anyway, roughly about £43 per ticket, which, listen, it's up to you to determine your own opinion whether or not you think this is too expensive or whatever. In the world that we live in right now, everything's too expensive, isn't it? It's a horrible world we live in right now with inflation and the cost of living crisis and all the rest of it. But to be honest, this is far less than I expected. I'm not going to lie. It's not ideal, £43 per game or £130 out your pocket in a time like this. It's not easy to pay for. But, I thought it was going to be upwards of £50 per ticket, to be quite honest. This is only a rise of, I think, £5 to £10 from the last time we played in the Champions League in 2017, and I honestly did expect it to be far more than that. So it's not exactly amazing, but I think that it could have been far worse, to be quite honest. But as I said, I'm not going to tell anybody what's too cheap or what's too dear. That's up to yourself to determine what you think. But that's the fees anyway. If you're on the Home Cup ticket scheme, your tickets will be charged per game on certain dates. They have the dates on the website if you'd like to look. So people like me who are on the Home Cup ticket scheme. If not, you'll need to buy it through the website at that chunk fee of £130, unless you're in another one of the categories. But they are out. That's it. It's very exciting. It's all hitting now. The tickets will be getting bought over the next few days if you're wanting to go to the Champions League games. Oh, but who will we be playing? Are we going to be paying £43 a game to watch the best of the best? Who knows? So first off, I thought that we would have some fun and we'd get up the draw simulator. Yes, you can see it on screen and see what they think Celtic might get. We'll do it through this and see what happens. Terrifying when you look at some of the teams in the pots. There's a lot of good teams in the Champions League, of course. And listen, there is no such thing as a good pot or a bad pot, because all of these teams have the capability to come to Celtic Park and beat Celtic. They're all here for a reason. Everybody in pot 1, 2 and 3. There's some that are more favourable, absolutely, but there isn't such a thing as an easy pot in the Champions League. You could throw us in with the Ajax, Tottenham and Leverkusen, who are bottom of all 3 pots, and all three of them are capable of giving us a scudding on their best day. So it ain't easy. It's not easy at all, but we'll see what it gives us for a laugh anyway, and what we could potentially be reacting to. After this, I'm going to go through what I think is the best and worst case scenario. We're going to talk about the teams that are involving in that. But as you see here, it is just the Champions League is the strongest it's ever been. With the financial power in football now, every team from top to bottom has got a super squad in those top three pots. It's really not that easy. Now, just a disclaimer very quickly, pot 4 is not confirmed. It isn't going to be like that because, as we know, for example, Rangers might not be in the Champions League. Hopefully Max Verstappen does us a favour and PSV will be there, for example. But this is the closest thing to pot 4 that we have right now. The probability is going to look like something like this. But it doesn't affect Celtic anyway because Celtic can't play anybody from pot 4. So realistically, it doesn't really matter. So let's get our best Giorgio Marchetti. Is that his name? Is it Giorgio? Giorgio Marchetti. Let's get his best accent on and draw our 2021-22 UEFA Champions League draw. Right. Let's do this. So pot 1, we're going to just fire through very quickly because pot 1 doesn't matter. Is it? You know, there we go. Bang. There you go. Straight away. Porto, Man City, Ajax, Bayern. They're all superpowers. You know, I think that we all know there's a couple there would favour Group G. But realistically, I don't want us to get carried away. If we did draw the likes of Frankfurt, there's 2 wins for us. I know they haven't started the domestic season that great. I know they obviously weren't great against Rangers in the final of the Europa League either, but you know, that's our problem with Celtic fans, isn't it? We go in going, that's a game we should be winning. And we should be, but I think we get too over our heads sometimes. Right, so let's have a look at how this can go. Now, this is very professional, this simulator. It works very realistically. So we've drawn Leipzig first out of pot B, but for example, they can only be in pots A, B, and C. So very, very technically correct, this simulator, which is nice. So let's see who they will be joining. I'm going to shove them into Group B, Man City and Leipzig. Wow. Right, let's rifle through pot 2 and we'll see what's looking the most tasty. Okay, so pot 2 has been drawn, and as you can see, there are some slightly tasty groups already building in here. I mean, the one that jumps off the page to me straight away is probably the Real Madrid-Juventus one. I know Juventus haven't been great over the past couple of years, but they are 2 massive clubs. Of course, Juventus went on that great run of winning, 9 Scuderias in a row. Real Madrid, of course, current champions of Europe. PSG and Chelsea, also an interesting one in there. Milan and Liverpool. Some really good ones. Now, if you were looking on the surface, there's a couple you'd probably fancy there as a Celtic fan straight away. Ajax and Sevilla. Not the worst you could ever get. Now, 2 really good teams, don't get me wrong, but not necessarily one of the big boys in there. Not a PSG, a Bayern, a Barcelona, none of those teams. So that kind of looks okay. Bayern and Tottenham, that's quite difficult, especially if the way Conte's got Tottenham playing. Yeah, they're looking a little bit tasty so far. So let's get these pot 3 sides in here. Straight away, Salzburg's the first one out. That is quite a difficult group. If Salzburg turn up in anywhere near the form they did a few years ago at Celtic Park, I would not want Bayern, Tottenham and Salzburg. Okay, so the moment of truth is about to come. We're about to see who Celtic get in our simulation. I mean, this doesn't matter. I don't need to build a lot of suspense to this. It's not exactly the real thing. So I've got Porto, Barcelona and Leverkusen. Wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind that at all. We showed against Leverkusen last year that we can compete. City, Leipzig and Napoli. That's a decent group. I think I'd like to kind of sway away from that. Now, on the surface, if it was real life... The phone. Now, if it was real life, Ajax, Sevilla and Inter's the group I'd want. Because Inter would give you a wee trip to the San Siro, and I'm considering European trips in this as well. Inter, I would love to go to San Siro, that'd be great. And Ajax and Sevilla, I think we could challenge them to better than maybe some of the other sides. So right now, I'd be favouring Group C. Group D, I'd like to avoid. I must say. Group E, I'd also like to avoid. Group E is starting to look like the group of death. Even though Dortmund got pumped off Rangers last year, still looking like the group of death on the surface. PSG, Chelsea, Sporting. Yeah, do you know what? I'd probably take that. PSG wouldn't be nice to play, but I'd probably take that for Chelsea and Sporting. Frankfurt, Atletico and Benfica, wouldn't cry about either. Milan, Liverpool and Shakhtar. I don't think I'd mind that. Probably maybe a wee bit further away than that one as well, but do you know what? It's kind of worked out quite nice because whatever Celtic now get, there's not many. I think Group E and Group D are the ones I would desperately want to avoid, quite personally. So let's go. Copenhagen are first out. They're going to be joining PSG, Chelsea, Sporting and Copenhagen, okay? Red Star Belgrade, they are going into... Oh, there's my dream one away. They're in Group C with Ajax, Sevilla and Inter Milan. Marseille can get either A, B or D. I'm hoping that they take B to become, or D. I don't like any of those ones. Okay, they've took D. Okay, Marseille away. That's quite a tough group, that. Victoria Plzen, they are going into Group H with Milan. Celtic, we're gonna get Group E here. That's a foresight of what's to come. Club Brugge are into Group A. Christ, here we go. Right, okay, so we can get either 3 of these groups. So this is Celtic's scenario right now unfolding in front of our eyes. We could get B, E, or G. We're gonna get E, and that's gonna be a sign of things to come on Thursday when the draw goes on, isn't it? We're going to get the group of death. Celtic will be in Group B, which still isn't the nicest group in the world. Rangers will meet with Frankfurt again. Zagreb in Group E. So there you go. According to the simulator, Celtic will be drawing up against Manchester City, Rasenballspil Leipzig and Napoli. Whereas Rangers will have Eintracht Frankfurt, Atletico Madrid and Benfica. Now, our group would be quite nasty, wouldn't it? Just a slight bit. Werner back at Leipzig, City with Haaland, Napoli, who are, a good side. I wouldn't like that at all, really. There's definitely worse Celtic can do, I think. But what would you do if we got City, Leipzig and Napoli? Let me know in the comments. I would like to stay away from Man City, preferably. It'd be good, I think, for the away trip, because I think we get quite a fair few amount of tickets. But I just want to stay away from Man City, to be honest. 3, 2, 1. So let's look over what I think are the best and worst case scenarios for Celtic in this group stage. Worst case scenario, we'll start there. I've gone with Real Madrid, Liverpool and Inter Milan. Now, I know I said I really want a trip to the San Siro, but ultimately, if that was the group we got drawn, we'd be fucked. Madrid, Liverpool and Inter, I genuinely could see us ending the group with 0 points. So I think that is the worst case scenario. It would be hard to gather any sort of momentum. I think it would just be really difficult game after game, difficult venues to go to. And at Celtic Park against those sides, they all play a brand of football that it could just be too intense. I feel like we need teams who are going to be a little more counter-attack-ish. I don't know, I don't think like the likes of Liverpool continuously and people will say, no, that suits us because that means Celtic can attack them and we don't need to worry about folk countering us when we want to attack. But can our defence, can Greg Taylor and the rest of the defenders, Juranovic, Vickers and Starfelt, can they all hold off on the best attackers in the world for 90 minutes, game after game? I'm not so sure, let's be real. So Real Madrid, current champions of Europe, current champions of Spain, Karim Benzema, who's arguably right now the best player in the world. You could make the case for it at this moment in time. Unbelievable. I just don't fancy our chances against them too much. Liverpool, I know they've had a terrible start to the season. And last night against Manchester United, they were awful. But they'll get their act together. And they'll now start to look at the Champions League as their probably main opportunity of winning a major trophy. The Premier League, you could say, is floating away from them. I know it's early days, but they'll be looking at the Champions League going, okay, we need to go and try and win this. They will want to make a statement. Salah, Diaz, Nunez, all these guys in the team, they'll want to go and do something. So I don't really want to be the one that feels the wrath of that. And then Inter Milan, I know they lost out on the league title last season to AC, Milan, should I say. But I just feel like they've got, once again, a very strong side that would make it very difficult for Celtic. So I think that, for me, is the worst case scenario group. Best case scenario then, as I said, in the Champions League, there's not really a best case scenario. You're playing the best of the best. There's no easy games. There are games you favour though. I've gone for Frankfurt, Sevilla and Shakhtar Donetsk, just with the way that you can't play two teams from the same country, etc, etc. Frankfurt haven't had the best start in the Bundesliga this season. They obviously didn't look too great against Rangers in the final of the Europa League. They have lost a couple of their bigger players as well. I would fancy our chances against Frankfurt. They're one of the teams that I would. And from Pot A, easily. I mean, who else in Pot A would you take over Frankfurt? Absolutely nobody. Pot B, I've taken Sevilla. Very good side. European football, they're always fantastic as well. But once again, I just look at all the other sides in Pot B, and I think that I would favour them out of everybody else. Out of the three Spanish sides, I think they're the weakest. I was thinking maybe Chelsea, but I've went with Sevilla. And then I went Shakhtar, who are obviously playing their games in Poland. That'd be a great away trip for the Celtic fans as well. Shakhtar playing their games in Poland right now. I just, once again, same situation. I look at pot 3 and I think, You know, Shakhtar are a strong side. They're constantly in the Europa League. Champions League. They're always there. They're always qualifying. They're always playing. But I just look at all the teams in the pot and I'm like, well, I'd rather them than some of the other big boys, just if we're looking purely at results. Now, I've not taken into consideration trips for this best case scenario. I've only taken into consideration the teams themselves, but I think those three sides are the sides that allow us the best chance of gathering points in that group stage. So there's my best case scenario. Let me know what yours is. So yeah, a very exciting time to be a Celtic fan, isn't it? With the Champions League group stage draw coming up for the first time in a number of years. The big boys are going to be back at Celtic Park, the best of the best. Fuck your glamour ties. I don't want any of that. I don't care how much you're dying to see fucking the best players in the world, Lionel Messi and all that. I don't care. I've seen Messi enough, mate. I've seen him once, done me. I don't need it again. If I want to see him, I'll go to France. But it's very interesting. Let me know what you think the best and worst case scenarios is. Are Celtic ready for the Champions League challenge? We're going to talk about all of that this week because we'll be doing a live show on Thursday for the draw. So we'll talk about everything in the build-up because it's a long build-up, as we all know. These draws go on for an insane amount of time. So we'll have a lot to talk about there, a lot to cover there. But right now, I think that's my best and worst case scenarios, plus a little fantasy draft draw thing there as well. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. But that'll do it for today. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.